It's Red Chair Review time. Are you ready? I'm ready. Fred Whitaker here, happy to talk to you about a brand new album from one of my very favorite musicians in the entire world, Mr. Steven Wilson, and his new album, The Future Bites. If you don't know a lot about Steven Wilson is a talented sound engineer, producer, but most importantly, he's an amazing musician, guitar player, singer. He can do everything. I mean, he's extremely talented. He would say he isn't because he's very modest about that kind of thing, but he really is one of the best songwriters in the world, in my opinion, right now. And I just feel like he's just hitting his stride. As a solo artist several years ago, he did The Raven. He did several albums that were, quite, my personal favorite of his was an album he did several years ago called Hand Cannot Erase. That wasn't just my favorite album of that year. That was my favorite album of the entire last decade. So if you haven't heard Hand Cannot Erase, go check it out. If you're a fan of Steven Wilson or you're on one of Steven Wilson's fan pages on Facebook, you may not think he has any fans. You may think he only has people who claim to be fans but hate what he's doing, because he really has a lot of naysayers about the last couple albums. To the Bone was his most recent effort. Got some negative feedback from some people. They didn't like the direction he's going in. This new album, The Future Bites, as I'm going to talk about now, a lot of electronic elements, danceable elements, pop even. And a lot of people don't like that he is progressing as a musician, even though he is a prog musician, supposedly progressive. When he changes his sound or tries to progress, some of his die-hard fans like to get angry with him because they want him to do, why can't he do more stuff like The Raven? Why can't he do more stuff like he did with Porcupine Tree years ago? Why can't he do more stuff like what was on Hand Cannot Erase? It's because that's just not what he's feeling like doing right now. It even got so bad recently that people are claiming because he has a wife and a family now, he's too happy to make truly sad music, and that's why they just can't get into what he's doing now. Bruh, look, the guy is a multi-talented musician that doesn't like to paint himself into a box, and right now he's feeling electronic, dancey kind of music. Still dark many times, but dancey. So let me talk to you about the new album, The Future Bites. First of all, I got this deluxe limited edition box set, which is kind of funny because the entire album is about like consumerism and how everyone wants to have the best of everything, and here I am spending money on a deluxe edition box set, which he's doing that on purpose. He's kind of tongue-in-cheek about it. He knows that he himself has a vinyl addiction, so I had to, of course, get the deluxe edition box. Well, my wife is really the one who would insist that we buy this, but I'm very excited about this and it just came in today, so I can't wait to dig into that more. Here's the actual album itself, and he's kind of like morphed his face with some kind of model's face here in this image, which I think really ties into the album's themes. This idea of alienation, wanting to fit in, never feeling like you're quite good enough, being lost in this technological world, trying to buy things all the time, becoming a mass consumer to fill that empty void in your heart for something more. That's what this album's all about. I've seen some reviewers call it like a modern day OK computer for the Amazon age kind of thing. I've seen that quote. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm not going to put it on OK computer levels, but this album is really solid. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it track by track. The album first starts with a song called Unself. It's a minute long. Unself is just an instrumental, and it's just kind of dark. It's got some guitars in it. One of the last lines says is all hail to love and love is hell. So, you wouldn't know that he's found this happy family life from that kind of a lyric. He's still singing about alienation and emptiness and what that means. So it's only a minute-long track, but a nice way to start Unself, and it goes right into the second track, Self. Self is a 3-minute pop song. Upbeat, dark. You get like your first F-bomb of the album 2 minutes in. You get the choir singing, kind of get this like sing-songy back and forth with a female voice. It's very strong, but very short, 3.5 minute long song. It's kind of like the perfect pop song length. This song's all about paranoia. This song's all about longing to fit in. I don't understand how people are saying this isn't what Steven Wilson does, because these lyrics feel very much like Porcupine Tree's Fear of a Black Planet to me. I don't know how they're different thematically from what he's been doing for a while. I just feel like he's really diving deeper into the topic, but this doesn't feel like a departure for me. The next track is a track called King Ghost. Now, this is the first track that didn't really sit well with me right away. Just something about it felt very stripped back, kind of like empty, like it could have had more instrumentation or something. It's a mid-tempo song, which I don't mind, but the chorus is this high-pitched, it's a really high-pitched vocal thing he's doing. It's kind of like I don't want to say it's a high-pitched Radiohead voice, but Steven has that. He's got range. He uses it here, but I like his lyrics a lot, and the chorus with the ah-ahs just has vibe but doesn't have substance for me. So that's why King Ghost is the only song on the album that I'm not really into. Really cool, about 2 minutes into the song, this electronic voice box kind of effect comes on. You've heard Frampton use it. I've seen Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains use it for like Man in the Box and things like that. But this is where you first hear that electronic voice showing up, that shows up in OK Computer, fitter, the better, happier, looking for something more fulfilling in life. And I think he taps into that, and that electronic voice, even if he's not meaning to call back to OK Computer, I think that's what it does. It kind of reaches into that vibe a little bit for me. The next song, 12 Things I Forgot, is, in my opinion, one of his finest solo songs. Maybe one of his best songs ever, Porcupine Tree stuff included. There's just something very memorable about the track. If they ever do a Steven Wilson's Greatest Hits, this is going to be in the first couple tracks on that album. It's just 12 Things I Forgot. Really, it's like earworm. It sticks in your head. It sticks in your mind. I forgot. There's so many things that I pretend to you I'm not. The entire track is about him really longing for a simpler time, longing for times where like he even makes like references, kind of tongue-in-cheek references to like things were best in the 80s. This idea of I wish things were like they used to be kind of is funny because it reminds me a little bit of what I'm seeing from a lot of the message boards, where I wish he would do what he used to do. Why does he have to do this new poppy stuff? And I think that that's what I get from this song. But it's just a tremendous song. I listened to it when it first came out last year over and over again. So if I'm going to say one song from this album you have to hear, it's 12 Things I Forgot. Next, you get the funkiest track on the album, which is Eminent Sleaze. The song almost has this kind of like gospel-y, funky vocal pattern going on with the chorus. Very danceable. The song's just really a danceable track. The music video is cool, super trippy. Several of these songs have videos out already for them. And this is one of my favorites. He's kind of carrying on all the Future Bites merchandise, and he's kind of being isolated and chased and haunted. It's really a cool video. So if you want to see a neat video from this album, I would say you definitely want to check out the video for Eminent Sleaze. But it's a very memorable track, very danceable, and I enjoy it quite a bit. Man of the People is still kind of sitting with me. He released like 5 songs, I think, off this album ahead of time. The pandemic, they kept delaying the release of this album. So Man of the People is still kind of a newer track to me. I haven't gotten as many listens to it. But the lyrics are kind of generalized to me. Once again, a reflection, a little bit of alienation, but it doesn't feel like he's addressing a specific topic here. There's a nice break, a proggy midsection, which is really cool. And I'm going to revisit this track a lot more. But the lyrics to me just don't feel as in-depth or as meaningful on this particular song as they do on all the other songs in the album. Steven Wilson's proven one thing to me with this album, with his most recent effort here, is that the song Personal Shopper, which is the first single he released, it's a 10-minute long song. So is the man really trying to be poppy? The first single he released on the album is 10 minutes long. No, he's not really trying to be poppy. But this is the theme of the album in one song. This, I think, encapsulates everything about the album. Our search through technology, our constant need to buy more things so we can feel fulfilled in a life that seems ever-growingly distant from our fellow human beings. Buy. You can only be happy if you buy more. I'm looking at my box set. You're constantly buying more things, and that's what this is about. One of my favorite things about this is that it's kind of cheeky. Sir Elton John joins for a little bit of spoken word in the middle of this, and he just says all of these things we want to buy. Lashes and sunglasses, the first thing he says, which I've seen Elton talk about his addiction to sunglasses, which he cannot get rid of. Elton is still addicted to shopping all these years later, so he agreed to be on this album and talk about this, just say some of these things, looking for self-love, looking for confirmation through what we buy and what we own. Personal Shopper is the song that really is what the album's about. So it's 10 minutes long, but it really sums up the entire record, and it's perfectly placed right in the middle of the album here. I think that it just is thematically exactly where it needs to be. The next song is Follower. Once again, kind of an upbeat, dancey song. It's got a good vibe to it. You could move to this song if you really wanted to. The chorus, this follow me chorus he sings is really memorable. Sticks around long after you hear the track. Once again, one of the more memorable moments on this album is just this follow me chorus and Follower. If you're looking for a song that's kind of about, looking for more, but you also want to shake your booty at the same time, Follower might be it. I don't know. But once again, it has that same feeling of this alienation, this search for more. Thematically, this album is really strong. Lyrically, he kind of continues that throughout. The Man of the People lyrics feel a little more generalized, but everything kind of fits into this this theme that Steven has created here. And the official album ends with a track called Count of Unease. It's about 6 minutes long. The last 3.5 minutes of the song really are just kind of like melodic, ambient pieces that really fit well with the album. I think it winds it down perfectly. It's downtrodden. It's more keys driven, very sad and longing, sorrowful. But I think it's the perfect way to end this album. There are a lot of dancey kind of upbeat numbers, but even the dancey upbeat numbers are sort of depressing lyrically. And I really like that about this album. It's upbeat enough to make you feel kind of good, the music does, but when you listen to the lyrics, it kind of makes you feel a little bit like the world is empty a little bit, and that maybe that we're all looking for more. And I think that's what Steven Wilson's trying to say here, is that we're all just searching in this world of consumerism, in this world of over-the-top purchasing, buy, this world of technology always right in our face. We really don't have that connection with each other anymore. And that's what he's saying here on his new album. That is what he's trying to put forth here. So as far as the future bites, if I had to give this a grade, and I will grade it, I would give this a 95 out of 100. I think it's an excellent album. I'm not sure if King Ghost is a song that I'm going to go to a lot. When you look at these 9 tracks on this album, 7 of them are extremely, extremely good. And one of them lacks a little bit lyrically for me, and one of them lacks a little bit as far as memorable musically. It's not as memorable musically. But the album itself is, as a whole piece, one of the best solo albums you're going to hear this year. So if you're hearing people talk about Steven Wilson and how he's losing his touch or lost his identity, I think that's completely false. I think he's finding his identity still. I think this is an artist that's always going to move and progress. Bands like AC/DC, you know what you're going to get with an AC/DC album. You're not going to be like, whoa, this blows me away. This is not what I expected from AC/DC. That's what their fans want to hear. That's what they give their fans every time. And that's cool and all. Slayer gave their fans what they wanted. Every album, well, they tried the one punk album. Slayer always gives you pretty much what you want. So if you're a fan. Steven Wilson, I think, gives himself what he wants. And he's searching, I think, musically for what he needs to say next and what he feels like doing next. If you want to keep updated with a musician who's always changing and always shifting what he's doing, look no further than the UK's Steven Wilson. And if you don't want to start with what I think is his best album, A Hand Cannot Erase, this is a great second place to go. So check out Steven Wilson's The Future Bites. And, I hope you agree because it's just like my opinion, man.